All right. Hey, everyone. Thanks for joining today's Tempus Nova Tip Time, where we will cover team drive sharing. I'm Sophie Lightoff with Tempus Nova. We have been a Google partner since 2008, which means we've done a lot of projects over the past 12 years, and we feel lucky enough to have watched the product offer evolve. So as the Google Cloud Product Suite continues to grow with more services and features constantly being released, we thought it would be a great time for us to begin our weekly webinar series where we go over various topics that include G Suite, Chrome, and Google Cloud Platform. Our sessions are short and sweet. They take about 10 to 15 minutes each and cover 1 to 2 topics that we think would be beneficial to learn about. Each week, we will have a description so you can decide if it's something that would be of interest to you or one of your colleagues. Today, Gary Wagner will be going over the webinar. Gary also has over 500,000 views on our Tempus Nova YouTube training channel and is a Google certified trainer. So if you're interested in learning anything about our other Google products, he is the person to go to. So with that in mind, Gary, please take away team drive sharing.
Thank you, Sophie. So let us jump into our screen here, and just to kind of start off, the first thing I just want to mention is that Team Drives has now been renamed as Shared Drives. So you're going to see that one difference in that upper left corner of the screen. Now, when it comes to sharing, there are a few dashboard or admin panel settings that you can look at in terms of being able to allow people to create team drives as well as external sharing of files. So we're going to go over a little bit of the sharing piece in that regard and just kind of show you that it is possible, but there are settings that you have to modify in order to accommodate that. Most of the time, people are going to create a shared drive, and it's a straightforward procedure of clicking on the new button, create a shared drive, you name it, just like it would be a folder. Now, I've already created my example team drive here, and you see at the top left of our screen, I have 2 members, and I can also go to add members. If I click in either one, it's going to bring up our share box and see who we have available in this team drive. With this, I can see I've got Jennifer and my TN trainer. To the right, I can see the settings for sharing and managing. So the first and topmost level of permission here is going to be the manager. That's going to allow someone to be able to manage content, add and subtract members, modify the settings of the team drive, and even delete and create team drives. Next up, you have Content Manager. So you could actually have one person be a manager and another person be a content manager, or multiple people of each if you want. Just keep in mind that that top role allows them to do a lot more with the overall drive settings, as opposed to just maybe allowing people to add and subtract and manage the content that's going to be put within that folder or within that team drive. Content Manager allows people to add, edit, move, and delete files. Below that is a contributor. People will be allowed to add and edit files. They won't be able to move and organize and delete those files. Then you have commenter. Just like within a typical drive file, you can allow for feedback on files, suggested edits, and then you have the almighty view only or read only mode of any of the files. You do have the ability to remove members and add and subtract members as needed. Now, keeping that in mind, one of the biggest things that people have to remember is that when they put any files and they create any folders in a team drive, there is no ownership by an individual. The ownership is then transferred to the organization. So I am with Tempus Nova. If I create a file here, or I drag and drop a file from my drive that I own into a team drive situation, I personally would lose ownership and the organization would own that file. Now, the bonus to that is that you never have to worry about downtime of having to transfer ownership if someone up and quits suddenly or something of that nature. So it's kind of convenient in that regard, where you're not worrying about downtime of files getting kind of put into a suspended state, having to be transferred to one person or another in another role or elsewhere in the organization. Now, when it comes to the files that I have added to our team drive already, just to make files a little bit quicker, we have the quick access up at the very top there. I can select and right click on a file. you'll see the share option. From there, I can see who has access to this file. Now in the lower left corner, if I click on who has access, you'll see that someone outside of the domain that I am currently in, because I am currently in tntrainingtest.com, not tempusnova.com. And you can see here I have given Gary access to this file in an edit mode at tempusnova.com. So in my drive settings under team drives or shared drives, I have the settings selected to allow external sharing. Now I also have link sharing turned off. If I click on that, I do have the ability to click on link sharing. You'll notice the note at the top, people at Tempus Nova with that link can access it. And then I can also allow external access and make it findable in search results. Once again, these are controlled at the domain level in that dashboard or admin panel for allowing external sharing and such. If I want to go to any of these files and add someone, I can go to the file itself, right-click, share. I can enter the name, and we'll go to our Trainer 2 account. I can give them whatever privilege I want with the file, edit, comment, or view. I could send a message. I can skip sending notification, and they'll still see this in their drive. Click on send, and just that quickly, I've shared it out with a teammate that's a part of our organization. Now, he is not a part of this team drive. As we said, we have two members, and that would be Jennifer and the TN trainer, which is me. Now, I just shared that file out with Trainer 2. So even though Trainer 2 is not a part of this team drive, I've still given that person access to the file, which you do have the ability to do. They would not be able to see any folders or files within this team drive, but they would be able to see and edit that file that I gave them access to. If I would like to add that member, click Add Members. I can quickly add that person to this team drive, give them the role of choice, which in this case, I would just say contributor. Once again, add a message or skip sending. Send that invitation off to that person, and they will now see that team drive in their left navigation. So right now, if I click and expand my shared drives in the upper left, that person would only see whatever they have access to, but now that I've shared out my example team folder, they would now see that as well. So a lot of the same permission levels that you're used to seeing on files in My Drive are going to be in Team Drive. The difference that you're going to see here is going to be the permissions at the drive level for the overall shared drive, and then file sharing, you still have the same type of permissions that you have otherwise. So that's it in a nutshell for sharing and permissions in team/shared drives. Now, before I leave you, what I would like to do is in the chat bar of your GoToWebinar, I have put a link to the support site for Google Drive, and I am pinging that to everybody right now. This is going to be a shared drive cheat sheet. So if you need a little bit of help, we can go to this shared drive. Just click on that link that I've just provided. You can get the walkthrough of creating a new shared drive, adding the members, how to add the files, and then how to change the level of access and permissions of sharing for those specific files. You'll also have the ability to see how to hide or unhide a shared drive as well. So that should be another little tidbit for you to work with in regards to your shared drives. So with that, I'm going to pass it back over to Sophie to finish off our webinar for today.
All right, thanks so much, Gary. So that was exactly 10 minutes, so we're right on time. Thank you for keeping this short and sweet, and thanks for everyone for joining. We hope you found today's session very helpful, and feel free to visit our YouTube training channel where Gary has, once again, over 500,000 views and creates 2 to 3 minute video snippets whenever end user features are released. So feel free to follow him and stay current. You'll also be getting a survey, so please give us your feedback so we can make these sessions worth your time. All right, see you next week. Thank you.